Welcome to Empowering Chats with Susan Burrell. This is where we have deep, intimate conversations about self-empowerment and future existence. I am an intuitive healer and a light leader who has been called to activate other light leaders. So I'm curious, are you one of them? So by listening, lean in and see if you are ready to be that eternal potential you've been called to be. Using your bravery, your talent, your tenacity, can you be innovative and adventurous in order to activate your light and lead from that place? This is where we learn how to love ourselves from the inside out and love the whole world over and over again. Enjoy the show. All right, everybody, I got to tell you, I say this all the time, gosh, but I am really excited today. I'm so thrilled that this beautiful woman has agreed to have the conversation with me. I've been excited all morning. I want you guys to really hear what she and I both have to say, because we've been both through a trauma separately, not together, but that many women are going through in the world. And so I want to welcome Nilgun Tulu. Thank you so much.
Hi, Susan. It's great to be here. This is my first podcast, so I apologize from everyone if I do some mistakes. I have been through a lot last couple of years. Well, actually, I have been going through for the last 20 years, but I have been realizing for the last couple of years what I was going through.
Yes, and what we're referencing, you guys, is having been married to a narcissist, and not just a minor narcissist, because there are actually people, Nilgun, I don't know if you've run into them, where they believe, oh, well, they're just a minor narcissist. In my opinion, once you see what a narcissist is, having lived through being with one, you can spot them a mile away. And I don't think there is any kind of just a little bit narcissistic. I really don't believe that. But we've both been involved in marriages, long-lasting marriages, relationships. And I was 28 years in a marriage, and you were 20?
I was in 13, but we have been together. We were together 20 years. So
yeah,
you could say 20 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I added 3 years because I had to add the process of my divorce, which was just, I thought I was going to die because the narcissist really came out. I mean, toward the end, he just really was full blown. But I think we're kind of ahead. So let's go back to what you were saying of how you didn't really know until the last couple of years, because I think that's true for many women. There's something that happens where we wake up, or actually, in our cases, I think that the husband, the narcissist,
the narcissist up actually.
Say it?
They wake you up actually.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
Yes, you don't wake up. They wake you up in a way that like when you least expect it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And for you, it was very dramatic. Would you like to share your story?
Yeah. So, I mean, it all started really good. I guess you got to say, in any narcissistic relationship, it really starts really good at the beginning. And they are like the prince on that white horse. You know? They do everything the right way. They impress you. You think they give you love. I guess it just all comes down to how you learn how to receive love from childhood, I guess. So it just all goes down the hill after that.
That's an important point, because I agree with you. I think that when we've been raised to not love and respect ourselves, we're looking outside of ourselves for that love. Exactly. And when somebody gives it to you in such a seemingly magical perfect way, you think, oh, this is the one.
Yeah, exactly. And when I met him, I was really young. I was like 24, almost 24.
Yeah.
And he was older than me, and like almost 20 years older. And I didn't know his age, so it was just like and I was actually 1 year into coming to US to study, to do my master's. So I was a foreigner, and doing my master's. I was basically a kid in a college, trying to survive. I was working and studying at the same time, and then suddenly I met him, and everything was magical. Going on expensive trips, presents, love languages, all kinds of stuff. So of course I fell into it without knowing his background, his history, anything about him.
Yeah.
Oh. And for a while we were together, and then I actually went back to my country to work, and it was a long distance, and it was just back and forth seeing each other. And then I kind of said, well, this is not going well. I don't want a long distance relationship. I kind of said either we should get married or we should just break up. And he didn't want to break up. He kept going. He didn't want to give up anything. And eventually we got married. And I kind of saw signs at the beginning, but again, I was still young.
Yeah.
It was my first marriage. Everybody said, "Oh, the first couple years of your marriage is gonna be a hell because you're trying to get used to living with this stranger, and you're gonna spend time together, but it's gonna be hard to get used to everything. So, just be prepared. There's gonna be tough times." So I believed in that.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was tough times. We were arguing. But again, everything was fine according to what was told to me.
Right.
So days passed. I started a really high demanding job, traveling all around the world, making really good money. But every other week I was overseas, Asia, Europe, someplace, or sometimes domestic travel. But I was always out, not in the house. And
Right.
he seemed to like it. He's like, "Oh yeah, it's fine. When you're gone, I'm just working harder. I don't it's fine." So all kinds of stuff, you know. And we were going on expensive vacations, buying expensive things, living a life. Uh I thought we were happy.
Yep. Yep.
And a lot of time the way he was talking to me, "Oh, I love you. I can't be without you. You're the best thing in my life." Crying about like things when he sees, he gets so emotional about being together, all kinds of stuff. And of course, with not with a lot of experience, you think all these are real.
Yeah. You think that, and that's exactly how narcissists, you guys really pay attention to this. And okay, what I've come to understand, Nilgun, is that they see people that are full of light, that
Mhm.
are really good people full of light. And they are attracted to that because there is something dark within them. And they want to attach to that light
Yes.
so they can siphon your energy. And what happens is then they start this whole narcissistic dance that they don't even really know they're doing, I guess. It's not necessarily that they're conscious of it. They just I think some people come in as narcissists. Some people believe that narcissists are taught. I'm not sure about that. It could be modeled in their home because my ex-husband, his father was a narcissist. And I kept seeing that going, I knew I didn't, I know I'm saying this straight out, God. I knew I didn't like the man. And he knew, and he did not like me. And it's because I saw something that wasn't real. You know, he was a fraud. He was a fake. And narcissists do not want to be found out. This is
No.
This is what we're seeing in the United States right now, that we have a narcissist in the White House, and we're seeing all the fraudulent stuff. So, and I'm sorry if you voted for him, anybody listening, but you got to pay attention to what's occurring, because you're living in a narcissistic dream, or you call it a mirage, right?
Yeah, it is.
It is
And
a mirage.
yeah, you think you're seeing something, but it's not there.
Right. And it's not true. And they tell you things that you want to believe are true. Like, I love you. I can't live without you, all those things. But then there's actions that occur, or side comments that occur about you or to you, right? That you go, wait, that's not very nice. That's not kind. In my case, my ex-husband never, ever, ever, ever told me that I was beautiful. If we got dressed up to go out to a cocktail party, he never complimented me. And when the minute we got to a party, he was off with all the beautiful women, or what I was seeing as other beautiful women, And I began to develop this very low self-esteem about my image. I must be, just ugly, horrible, that kind of stuff. And so let's talk a little bit okay, so we connected because you have a Substack that you're writing about the architecture of narcissism. So let's talk about the architecture of narcissism and what you've discovered, and we can compare notes, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I guess when I say that, it's just like you said, they don't know what they are doing, but they are doing it. And I don't know if it is coming from their childhood or they become a narcissist after a while. I think they want to be approved. They want to be loved. They want to be they want to be in the center of attention.
Yes.
They want to be known as a good person. But while they're doing it, they're actually inside, they're not actually that person. They are constantly faking it. Like, if somebody needs help, they will help them, but just to get an approval or just to look nice.
Right.
But in the meantime, they could talk bad behind them, or they wouldn't care about that person. The only reason they care about that person because they will make them look nice.
Exactly. My ex-husband, you were mentioning about your ex-husband crying. My ex-husband, learned how to cry in public at the absolute right time, where everybody went, oh, he really cares about this cause. Wow, what a great guy. He should lead this program. He should be doing this because he cares so much. I was like, really? Because
Yeah.
he doesn't, or didn't. Yeah. So yes. So they're out, and that's because they have no self-esteem and they are incapable of loving themselves.
Yes, and that's the problem. I think that's the majority of the problem.
Yeah.
And they are constantly looking for approval. They're constantly looking for love, and whatever you give them and whatever they find is never enough.
Yes.
Well, that's why they constantly look for that approval. And if one woman cannot give them that approval, or they get used to that approval, then they have to look for another one.
Yeah.
Or another situation, or another, I don't know, another country, another vacation, another job, whatever makes them that don't
Yes.
high, they keep looking, and it never ends.
My ex-husband, in the beginning of and I got married at 25, which I now in hindsight go, oh, that's way too young. But he rolled through the first 5 years of our marriage. I think he probably rolled through about 25 jobs.
Wow.
Because, and it was always somebody else's fault of why he didn't stay at the job.
Yeah.
So I was the breadwinner for the first 8, 9 10 years of our marriage because he wouldn't settle. And yeah, so about, I know for sure now in hindsight, about 2 to 3 years into my marriage, he was already having an affair.
Mhm.
And he had, I will now in hindsight with different memories that have surfaced, I recognize he probably had 10 affairs during my 28-year marriage that I was completely not aware of. Intuitively, the first one, intuitively, I knew. And when I confronted him, this is something else they do. He turned it on me. What's wrong with you? You can't trust me? Of course,
Mhm.
you should trust me. I'm your husband. I'm telling you the truth. I'm not doing that.
Yes, exactly.
It's always the wife's fault. It's always our fault that
In your
they are
mind.
behaving badly.
Yeah, it's in your mind. You're making things up.
Yes.
You're stressed out from work. That's why you just find things to, I don't know, keep your mind busy.
Yep.
Stuff like that, like constantly gaslighting you.
Yes.
Like it's you're making things up. Everything is fine. We have a great relationship. You're trying to destroy it. Yeah.
Well, and then the sex was never good in his mind. Well, in my mind too. But it was, and that's part of finding fault. So that's why they also have to go out of the marriage to find a better sexual partner.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, in his case, it was never enough for his case.
Yeah.
Like, and that's another thing with the narcissists. I think some of them are uh addiction related.
Yes. Yes.
Because I guess they call it sex addiction, but I
Yes.
think it's not sex addiction. It's that trying to find that approval. It's the dopamine high and trying to find that approval from multiple women. And I think it comes down to the love they received from their mother when they were child. I don't think it was enough or it was the right type of love.
Right.
And that's why they just keep looking for the right one or the correct one, but it's never there because they don't know what is the right or the correct one.
Right.
It's just
Right.
like constantly, and I guess like it's their way of like escaping from the reality, from the responsibilities, because it's constantly enjoying themselves, constantly like instead of let's think about the teenagers or the college students. They constantly want to party and they don't want to be responsible with anything, even with their classes, whatever. It's that mentality. They just constantly want to party and no responsibility whatsoever towards the people they love or people that loves them.
Right. Right.
I mean, in
So,
my case, like he abandoned his kids from his previous marriage. He doesn't talk to
mhm.
them. His kids doesn't want to talk to them. He didn't want to see his grandkids. I mean, what type of person does this?
I know. I remember
Yeah.
when we met. Um, I remember when we met and we were sitting in that coffee shop. We were having breakfast together, and he was talking about how his kids don't like him, and there was a grandbaby that had just been born, and he didn't care. And I thought the same thing. I was like, "Oh my God, this is like, oh, look at that." And my ex-husband's the same thing. We had one son. I stayed.
Hmm. Of course, you have to.
I stayed because again, intuitively, this wasn't me actually having the thought, "Oh my God, if I leave, he's gonna destroy my son through me."
Mhm.
I didn't have that thought, but I intuitively knew if I left, we would be in a custody battle, not because he wanted my son, but because he wanted to hurt me. So
Sure.
I stayed until my ex-husband decided he was done.
Yeah.
And then it just threw me out.
Yeah, I mean, like he constantly blames other people. He blames his kids not being nice to him,
Yeah.
or doesn't want to like they don't want to see him because for some reason they think he's not nice, blah blah. But it's always their fault.
Right.
It's never him not being there emotionally for them.
Right. Right.
He doesn't understand, like, you can go and fix your daughter's door handle, but if you're not there when she needs you emotionally, you're not her father.
They're unavailable.
Yeah, exactly. He was constantly available to them in that matter, but he just said, "Oh, they're so selfish. I always do stuff for them." But he never got the reality. And we had a lot of conversations around his kids during our marriage. Like, I was always telling him, hey, you have to spend more time with them, you have to talk to them, they might have issues, they need help maybe with some stuff, you have to be around them to support their emotional well-being. And he never understood it. He never
Right.
understood what that meant.
Well, because they don't want to. That takes away from going out with another woman behind our back,
Exactly.
and the kids know, you know.
Yeah, and his excuse was always, oh, they don't, oh, I asked them to go out for dinner, but they have stuff to do. Okay, maybe find another way to go into their life.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you are the father, you raised them, so you have to find a way to be present in their life emotionally.
And that's the hardest thing for a narcissist to do, to be present, which is why there's addictions, drinking. My ex-husband was smoking pot constantly. You know, he was high probably 28 hours of the day. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, okay. And he could function, you know. And I have, like I said, I have one son. He's been remarried 2 more times after me.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the new wives want nothing to do with my son because he's related to me, and my ex has told them smack about me and about my son. And my sweet, sweet boy still wants a relationship with this man, with his father. He's still looking, and my ex shuns him, you know, ignores him at a party, you know, that kind of, just what he did to me. Because what happens, you guys, is when a narcissist is done with you, they're really done.
Yes.
They still want to suck your energy, and they can do it without being in an actual the same vicinity. You get it? Because it's energy.
Yeah.
But they want, once they're done with you, they're done with you. And that includes money, right? That includes the money.
Oh yeah, I think that's the majority of it for us right now, because we still haven't got a divorce.
Yep.
It's all about money right now. And I mean, I have gone through so many things with him about money. He threatened me if I asked for too much, that he would make sure that he would spend every single penny on lawyers so I wouldn't get any.
This is okay. That's exactly, you guys have to hear what she just said, because that's not a one-off. That's how all narcissists operate. They will run the woman through divorce court until there is no money. And then say, see, I didn't have any money to begin with. And it takes years. It can take years.
Yeah, for us it's going to be 2 years almost. And of course he's blaming me about not being on time for stuff, but he's the one traveling around the world like a teenager right now, spending our money and just doing stuff like paperwork, changing lawyers constantly to
Yeah.
the system, all kinds of tricks. And then he messages me like, oh, I wish the best for you, I hope this can like end in a very amicable way, things like that. And then it's just like unbelievable stuff. And actually, if I continue my story towards the end, our relationship because people will understand even more.
Yes.
Narcissist does. Uh, so he came to me one day after years of marriage. Of course, here and there we had problems like every marriage does. You don't agree about everything, you argue, your perspective changes looking at things. So a lot of things changes, but towards the end he comes to me, he's like, I don't want to live in New Jersey anymore. I'm so tired of these people, this lifestyle. I don't want to work. I'm coming to retirement age. I have issues with my son. I have this, I have that. And I don't know what I want to do. So, and he wanted to leave me too at that time.
And he told you that?
Yeah, he said, well, maybe he didn't say he wanted to leave me. He just said maybe he should just live by himself for a while to get his mind back together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's like a typical.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, and then we had plans on moving to overseas years ago. We actually looked for houses and stuff. We were gonna live part-time overseas, live part-time in US. So I said, why don't we do that instead of like staying apart, because it looks like you need to be away from this environment. And of course, Steve,
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Yeah, I
believe,
get it.
I believed I wasn't the only problem. I believe there was like multiple problems, and that's why his mind was like all over the place and it was affecting our relationship. That's what I.
Uh-huh.
So he tells me, oh, let's just sell this new house we just built. We built like 6-bedroom, 4-bath, huge, humongous house in this greatest neighborhood in New Jersey. And he's like, let's sell this house, let's buy a tiny townhouse, and then let's move to overseas then. And I'm like, okay, that sounded nice because we were gonna do that anyway. And he made us sell the house. So, and he didn't want to buy a townhouse to come back to. He's like, oh, the market is so high right now. Let's not do that. Let's wait a couple years to buy. Worst cases, we can come back and rent a place. Again, stupid me, because I want to believe what he says. So we went overseas, I don't know, 4 or 6 weeks into that overseas trip, which we were going to try to stay there for a while. He's like, well, I don't think I can be with you. I want to move out from the place we were living together. I need some time for myself to clear my mind, think about what I want to do in life. And I was like, you want to do this right now while we were overseas? And he had this huge argument with me that was all blaming me for everything.
Right.
You this, you do that, you were this, you did that, you didn't do this. It was all you. It was all me.
Yep.
It was all my fault. So he moves out, and after that it went down the hill. He never, and then I went back to see my family, my parents. He was supposed to meet me there. He never came. Never came back to US. I did not have a house when I came back to US. Didn't have money other than our joint account, whatever money was there, because he held all the money from the house sale as well.
Yep.
All kinds of stuff. So what I learned at the end, he has been planning this.
Yes.
Because I found some emails that he was already talking to realtors about selling the house before even he talked to me.
Yes.
And
guys listen.
he was hiding money. He took money from our joint places, all kinds of stuff, and then said, "Oh, you're delusional. There was no money there."
This is so typical. I'm so glad you shared that part of your story, because this is so typical what they do. And I remember I went to meet a lawyer, and I brought the income taxes, which were joint. He took one look at the income taxes, and I swear he did a happy dance in his office because there was money there. I didn't see it. I didn't know where the money was, but he could see it in the income taxes. And I was like, okay. Meanwhile, I'm in this like $5 dress I found on sale at Target because I thought we didn't have any money. And he tells me, okay, the first thing you have to do, you guys, this is really important if you're planning on leaving a narcissist, is you open your own checking account, because we had a joint. I hadn't had my own checking account in years. Open your own checking account and you take whatever's in the joint account, you take half and put it in yours. And
without even going to lawyer, you do that. Yeah.
You do that, yes. And I remember when I went to the bank, I was shaking. I was shaking so badly. I actually thought he would come and find me. And so, of course, a few days later, he goes into the joint account and half the money's missing. And he calls me. I was out with friends and he's berating me. What did you do? What did you do? I was scared out of my mind. So I put half the money back.
Yeah, I was the same way at the beginning. I'm like, oh my God, I'm taking money, but that's not only my money. And I felt bad. I really felt bad, genuinely. And today I'm looking at myself like, what were you thinking?
I know. So you guys, it's really important. You start your own accounts. If you gave up your accounts when you got married, you start your own accounts and in a place where he can't find your accounts, and you get yourself a credit card. I had a friend who was going to leave her husband. He did all the bills. Her money went into their joint account, and he got the credit cards. She didn't have a credit card. It was their joint card. I said, go get a credit card, because at least you'll have, if you're out on the street with no money, you'll have a credit card to at least rent a room somewhere and buy some food.
Exactly.
And I remember the day I got my own credit card, I felt so empowered. I was like, okay, I can take care of myself. Because that's the other thing, is they make you believe that you can't do anything without them.
Yeah, I mean, in my case, I was lucky because I had my own accounts, own credit cards. I had some money in my account. And our joint account wasn't that bad, whatever money we had there. So I was not in a horrible situation, but I didn't have a job, so I couldn't rent a house.
Right. Oh boy.
They won't make you rent an apartment if you don't have a job, if you don't have any income. It doesn't matter if you have millions in the bank, they still don't let you rent an apartment because you don't have an income.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. So I mean, at least it's for New Jersey. I don't know, maybe other states.
I would think it's true in other places.
So I had to wait for a court order.
Oh boy.
A court payment to be able to rent an apartment. Until that, I had to stay at my friend's house in a 10 by 13 room with my belongings for like 6 months.
Wow.
I mean, I'm glad I had a friend who was nice enough to accept me. Because who would do that to you for 6 months?
Right.
Yeah. It's not like a week or a month.
No.
I was very lucky to have her. But it's just like they do all these stuff and they plan a lot of stuff. And they hide a lot of cash.
Yes, they hide a lot of cash. And then the lawyers say, oh, well, we can't find it. That's not true. In my case, I know he hid lots of money, probably a couple of million. And my lawyer couldn't find it. So, oh no, it doesn't exist. I was the wife, right?
Yeah.
I was just the wife. And we had decided I would be a stay-at-home mom for our son, so he can have the best education, and I was, but oh, you're just the wife. Yeah, I mean, they didn't say that, and of course I hired a man. I have a female lawyer now.
Yeah. I mean,
because
you kind of have to from an emotional standpoint, unfortunately. I mean, I don't want to say men lawyers are like this or women lawyers are like that, but unfortunately, in a way, you have to hire somebody who can understand you in emotional level.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what I did. I hired a woman lawyer too.
Well, I got this guy. And in hindsight, because it wasn't until I'd been divorced 3 or 4 years where I was interviewing somebody on my podcast, and she starts talking about narcissism, and she starts talking about all the steps of narcissism. I was like, oh my God, that's me. That was me. And so my lawyer was also a narcissist. So it became a narcissistic competition to see who could outdo the other kind of thing. And I'm in the middle going, hello?
I'm here. You need to protect my rights.
Right. I need to know I'm going to come out of this with some money because there's money. And, it adds more trauma onto an already mentally and emotionally abusive situation.
Yes. But I mean, if you ask them, they did nothing wrong and they were like all helpful, loving
Right.
person.
No.
And from outside, they are 100% like that. If you don't know what's going on, 100%. They look loving,
Yep.
passionate. In my case, at least.
They do. They do.
They were the nicest person. And then when people hear what happened to me, they're like, oh my God, was he really like that? Like they're just shocked. But a lot of people told me after the fact that he was so selfish. And I kind of saw that, but he was not selfish towards me in certain ways.
Uh-huh.
So that's why it didn't affect me much.
Right.
That's why I couldn't see it, maybe.
You couldn't see it. That's the mirage.
But they're very selfish towards other people. Like they want to go to the vacation place they pick. They want to eat at the restaurant they pick.
Yeah.
If they don't want to do something, they don't do it just because you want to. Just because we want them to, they don't do it.
Right.
The only reason, like I said, they help people because they want to look good. They want that attention. They want to be the center of attention. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I went through a very similar thing afterwards where people, as they got to know me as me, separate from him, they were so surprised that I was this nice, smart, intelligent woman. And I'm like, I've been here all along. What are you talking? These are tennis people I played with. It's like, wait, you didn't know me? But the thing I think that happens, at least in my case, because I really believe my mother was narcissistic. So I was trained from a very early age to submit to that kind of.
What's familiar to you?
Yes.
Familiar.
Exactly. And so this must be love. It must be love.
Exactly.
But what happens is I start hiding, because if I'm quiet in the corner, if I just am behaving, then I'm not going to get brutalized in some way. I'm not going to get yelled at or, emotionally told what a horrible person I am, or, all that stuff that, it's so amazing how people can hurt people, and that there is no remorse.
Well, there won't be. People
There won't be.
Understand that. There's not going to be any punishment through the court system, through the spiritual world, through God, whatever they believe in. There's not going to be any punishment. So they have to understand, they have to accept that and live with it and just forget about it and go on your life.
Yes, that's what we have to do, and it's right. The court system, I thought, the court's going to make him do this. They're going to, well, guess what, everybody? All the laws were made by men. It's made by men. And if you've got a male judge that's overseeing your case, they align with the man. They think the guy's right, and you're just a little wifey poo. It was, and so that's more trauma, that the system that you think and that you pay taxes towards and you think is going to be just is unjust. It's not justice. And I believed that eventually there was going to be some justice there. He was going to be punished, or he should go to jail for contempt of court, and none of that happens. None of it happens.
Yeah. Actually, funny thing, I'm going to talk about the court system here a little bit later too. But the funny thing, I just saw something online in Turkey where I was born. They actually make the narcissism during the marriage is a fault.
Oh, good.
Yes. So you can actually divorce somebody for being a narcissist and actually ask for like a, what do you mean? What do you call that? Like fine. Yeah.
Compensation for having been
Yeah.
mentally abused.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is like amazing. So it's considered a fault in marriage. Being a
That's
narcissist.
wonderful.
Yes. I mean, I don't think it's ever gonna come to US, something like that. Because like you said, it's whatever we say about being equal, it's still a male-dominated society.
Yes.
So, and coming back to the court system, and I mean, I have a really good, fair judge, so I can't say anything about that, and I think she's doing everything she can within the laws.
Yes.
But the laws are so limited. It's limiting the ability to do the right thing, maybe. I
Yeah.
mean, I think she's doing a great job, and I think she's very fair towards him and towards me. But for example, if the court system gives an order, there is not many consequences of not obeying the order, following the order. So it's just like so challenging to understand, comprehend. Like, why do you have a law if there's no consequences of not following the law?
Right. And part of it, I think, don't you think, is because like child support, and then they stop paying child support. But it's very hard for the system, the courts, to so he stops paying child support or alimony or whatever. Well, how do you get him to pay? Do you send the cops over there and say pay or go to jail?
Do that if they move to another state. You have to go to the court in the other state.
Oh, good.
That's another mess. I mean, in my case, I mean, thank God I don't have kids, so I don't have to worry about it. But if I know from other people, like they have kids, they stop paying child support, but they move to another state. So in order for him to be responsible, they have to go to the other state and open up another case there.
Right. And there goes the money.
Exactly. And the lawyers are not cheap.
Right.
They are not cheap. And if you want a somewhat good lawyer, they're even more expensive.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that so what do you think then? At some point, is there like, okay, I'm just going to have to surrender what I think I deserve or something, or I just need to let this go so I can move forward? How are you moving forward? How do people move forward?
Right now, I'm not surrendering. I'm trying to get what I deserve legally.
Yes.
I mean, whatever the state allows me to get, I'm going to go after it. Because why am I leaving all the stuff I worked for? And I worked my ass off. Like, I was unemployed after COVID because I lost my job. So, but before that, I worked my ass off. We created this huge, thing, lifestyle, money, savings, property, whatever. Why am I leaving that to other women?
Right, exactly. And then they spend it. They think it's their money. And then this is what I'm going through. And then when the next one divorces him, she thinks it's all her money, but it was never her money. It was my money.
Yeah.
I'm the one that put the time in.
Yeah. And my ex thinks that I don't deserve anything he has in his accounts because he made all that.
Yeah.
I didn't work. I didn't do anything in the marriage.
Right.
And they should understand. People should understand that too. Just because you didn't work outside of the house doesn't mean you didn't work.
Exactly.
You worked in the house. If they calculate today a private chef, a cleaner, a cleaning lady, an organizer, a scheduler, personal assistant, teacher,
Chauffeur.
exactly, mental health, all kinds of stuff. If they combine all this, it's gonna cost the man $10,000-15,000 a month
Yep.
that they have to pay outside of their pocket. But a woman stay home mom or stay home woman literally does all this without being asked.
Yep.
So just because you weren't working doesn't mean you're not entitled to anything.
Exactly. So, okay, see, I told you before we even started recording, we could talk for a long time about this stuff.
Yeah, I know.
You guys, Nilgun has a Substack. Are you calling it the architecture of narcissism?
Right now, I think they can just find me as Nilgun Tulu, but I keep changing the name.
That's okay. We'll put a link to your Substack in the show notes because you guys, I've been through it, right? I have been through extricating myself from a narcissistic relationship, and I've been reading your stuff, Nilgun, and I said it earlier. I got chills again. If I had been able to read what the way you describe a narcissistic relationship and steps you can take to get out of it, and how to move on even if you don't have money, and how to get money and all that stuff. If I had read that when I was going through divorce, I think I would have felt like, okay, here's some tools. Here, I can do that one step. I can take care of me by doing this one step that you suggest. So you guys, it's really empowering. If you're in a narcissistic relationship, you got to read. Excuse me. You got to read what you're talking about. So
yeah, and also if they don't even know what they're going through, they should read too, because some people don't even know they're in a narcissistic relationship.
That's very true.
It's very hard to figure it out. I have to tell you, it's very hard to figure it out.
Yeah.
Even people from outside will tell you, hey, he's a narcissist. It's still hard to figure it out yourself. So I mean, I think it's a great way of figuring out, oh my God, this is what's going on.
Well, and then you can be proactive. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. It's a really good way. Thank you so much for being here and having this conversation. I think it's so important for women to really begin to, well, I'm all about empowering women. I always have been. So to pay attention to what kind of relationship you're in, and if you need to leave, what are the best ways to take care of you and your kids if you have any. It's vital. So thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me. It was great talking to you.
It was good. And so I'm just going to end with, and so it is, namaste. Well, that wraps up our empowering chat for the day. I hope you enjoyed it and found it inspired you to be more empowered. If you want to find out more about me, go to susanburrell.com, my website, and you can see what we're up to. I am teaching classes again, so there's a calendar of that, and you can register. You can check out my book, Live an Empowered Life, a 30-day journey with the companion inspiration cards, or you can access my guided meditations that go through Insight Timer. We got a bunch of stuff on the website. Check it out. And until then, namaste.